This is a fun video to show you how you can make free video games on Scratch right now. This video will show you all the great games that are already on Scratch right now that you can play and modify, and even how to make your very own video games. I'm Alex from the company Understated Engineering. We focus on teaching young people how to think like engineers in fun ways. Use a QR code or web address on this page to check out our Scratch video game programming course, where you can learn to make video games from experienced engineers. Let's do some engineering. So the first thing you do is you go to the Scratch website, scratch.mit.edu, and you press Join Scratch there up at the top right-hand corner. You type in your username, and you have to make sure this is one that is not already taken, so you might need some numbers behind your name or something. Then type in your password twice, and then you can go Next. And then you pick your country. Then you go Next again, and just the month and year you were born in. It's not super important, but they ask for this information. And then what is really important is your email address coming next. So here you just can say your gender or not, and then you have to type in an email address, and you'll get a confirmation email. So you have to click on that confirmation email then, and basically just confirm your account, and then you're in. So then you can search other people's games and make your own games in Scratch. So here we just search for Among Us games. So this is a popular game that a lot of people have played, and there's a lot of people that have made their own versions in Scratch. So here you can go through all of them. And here I search for some Mario games. You see a lot of Mario games here. And there's one that's quite good that I've played a few times. It's right there. So I click that one. And I go in there, and here you can see how the game is made. You can play it. So here I just start by playing and showing you it's actually quite close to just the normal Mario game you would buy. You have these coins that look almost the same. Some of the movement is very close. You can see that the characters kind of flash in and out, so there's maybe some improvements you could make. So you can actually remix this game. You can save the game, and you're able to change the code however you want. You can study the code, and then it's saved as your own game, basically. And you just basically say that it's a remix of someone else's game. And then you're able to update it however you like. So here I'm just showing these coins. So this is a coin sound that someone recorded. And then basically the coin animation, which is just a lot of different pictures that show the coin turning. There's also animation for Mario. If you click on Mario at the bottom right-hand corner there, it's just a bunch of pictures. And here it shows it's just a loop where you have a bunch of pictures and a small delay between them. And that's how you basically do all the animation of Mario moving. So now I save the game as this remix, and I can go into My Games, and I see that it's right there. So I can modify this now, I can keep saving it, I can duplicate it so I can have multiple copies of the same game. Certain versions that I change, I can change the name, call it Alex Mario. Now what I'm doing is I'm changing the different costumes. So instead of the running person, it's now a jumping person. So I'm changing the way it is. Now it has this weird animation where he's trying to jump instead of run. And now here I'm making a new game. So it always starts off with this cat, which you can just delete this cat character right away. And these are all the different things you can do. So they're grouped together like motion, events, or control. All the different things, all the blocks you can use for coding are grouped together. So this is the event. So one of these events is to start the game, which you do by pressing that green flag. So you press the green flag, then something's going to happen. I have to put a code block under that. Here I'm picking a character. And I just go with this bear character, which has two costumes. It's just one bear down on all fours and one bear standing up. And now you can just basically use this paint tool and modify this picture however you want. So I'm putting a smiley face and some purple eyes on this bear. It's just to show that you can change these pictures whatever way you want. And here you can duplicate it, which is very useful. So now I have the same picture copied again, but I can just change certain aspects. So now I can just select the mouth and delete the mouth. And now I can add a different mouth. So now it's a smiling bear instead of a frowning bear. But this is really how you make animations. You keep most of the picture the same. You just change an arm or a leg so that you can show a character walking, something like that. So instead of redrawing it every time, which should have to be exactly the same, it's very good to just copy it and make a few changes. So now I have an event when the bear is clicked. then something is going to happen. So now I can just change the bear's costume. But I don't want this generic bear A, bear B. I want to have a smiling bear and a sad bear. So I renamed those so it's much easier in the code. And this is one of the big skills you need to learn for coding. It's very important to name your variables and different things so that you remember what you did. You don't just have bear A and bear B. Which one is a smiling bear? Which one is a sad bear? You don't want to get into that. So now it's very clear because I've just renamed those different pictures. What I've done now is that when you click start, it'll be the sad bear. And basically when you click on the bear, then he's going to smile and be happy. And then I have a delay there. So he smiles when you click on him. And then you change the costume back to sad. So you click on him for 1 second, he's happy, and then he's sad again. And now I'm adding another character that you can interact with. So I'm just going to pick just a person, I think, that'll interact with this bear. So each person, when you click on them, you can see the different animations, the different pictures that are within one picture. So we just have a character with a few costumes. This person only has one. A lot of the other ones have 3 or 4 different pictures inside one character. And now I can select the whole picture and I can just turn it around. So I want to face the bear. So I just flipped it and I can place it wherever I want with the bear. So now I can have like 2 characters that interact now. And now I add something when you start, then there's a delay. And then, so first you hide when you start. So you hide the person character and you wait a second and then they appear. And this is just my idea to get these characters to interact. So it's just very basic, just to show you what's possible with the characters. So now I have them switching to bear B, and that was actually the standing up bear from the beginning. And I put kind of the same delay. So here you're going to get the person appearing and then the bear standing up, like the bear is scared. Exactly, there it is. So it's just a little bit of interaction between the two. So now I'm starting another new Scratch project, and I've just deleted the cat again. This one's called Game 1. So this is the first kind of the simplest game I could think of. It's just going to be a simple balloon popping game. It's very easy and simple, but you can use that as kind of a basis to understand what's in a game and how you can improve it, make it more complicated. So first I'm just picking a balloon here, and this balloon character has a bunch of different colored balloons in it all together. I'm picking a backdrop, so there's something pretty behind the characters. And now I'm starting to add code for the balloon. So first I drag it to the bottom, and then I say, when you start, put the balloon down here. So it has a coordinate in X and Y. So X is horizontal and Y is vertical. And that's the position of things. So that's actually very useful in engineering as well. And now I have change Y by 10. So Y will keep increasing, which means it's going to rise. And this is a forever loop. So it's just going to go on forever. But in this case, it can only rise to the top of the screen, then it stops, and it's kind of stuck up there. It can't go up anymore. So that's just to get the balloon to go up. And now we want to interact. It's a game, so you want to have to click or have some kind of control. And you also want to be able to lose the game. So the first thing I do is I select this line. It's just another character. And now we can say when the balloon hits the line, then you have like a game over situation. So you're trying to pop the balloon before it goes up. So it says when you start the game, then see now you're on the line character at the bottom there. This is the code for the line character. And if the line character is touching the balloon character, then you can switch to a different backdrop, which is going to tell you that it's a game over. So here you can just write game over, and the backdrop is just white and it has the word game over on it. And that's what's going to happen when the balloon comes up and hits that line. And that's how you can basically lose the game. So you can go back in here. And now you have to switch the backdrop. So you're waiting until the balloon touches the line, and then you switch the backdrop to the game over. And that's how you lose the game, basically. And now how you play the game is you have to be able to pop these balloons. So to add that, well, here also, when you start the game, you just start the normal backdrop because you have to be able to switch from the game over mode to the normal game playing mode with this blue backdrop when you start the game. So here you stop all as well, which is just to basically end the game. And now you have when clicked. So this is on the balloon. So when the balloon's clicked, something needs to happen. And what you can do here is you can just copy this, which tells you where the balloon should start. And when you click it, you basically just force it to go back down to the bottom. So this is a way of you just keep clicking the balloon, keeps going down to the bottom, it's not going to hit the line. But you also want to keep a score. So you make this variable called score, and then you need to add basically a point every time you click on the balloon. So when you click it, you want to go down to the bottom, but you also want the score to increase by 1. So you have to go over here, and then you say change score by 1. So it starts off with change my variable by 1, so you just have to change that to the variable my score. Also at the beginning of the game, you have to remember to reset the variable to 0, and here you change your score by 1. And this is really common in programming, where you have to set variables at the beginning of the program, and you can change them throughout the program. But when you restart the program, you have to go back to the beginning. So here I keep clicking on the balloon, I keep getting a point every time I click it, and if I let it go to the top, then I get game over. So it's a very simple game. You can predict what the balloon's going to do. So in the next steps, we have to add some complexity to the game to make it more fun. But this is a very good basis, your very first game in Scratch. Now we go to the much more advanced balloon popping game. So in this one, there's a random variable, a random place where the balloon starts at the bottom. It always starts at the bottom. It can start on the left or the right, anywhere in between. So you're not sure exactly where it's going to be. And every time it goes up, it gets faster. So we have this thing where it glides, it moves from the bottom to the top in a certain amount of time. And every time it moves up, that time gets less. So you see there's a variable here called time, and now it's 1, and then it's 0.9, and then it gets super, super fast at the end as that time going from the top to the bottom gets close to 0. So if we look inside the program, we can see all the code that makes this more advanced balloon popping game. So each group has some functionality. So there you have the random variable. So you're picking a random variable from 200 to minus 200, and that's basically the length at the bottom of the screen. And then you go to the bottom and to that variable, and then you glide from the bottom to the top. And how long that takes is this time variable. And here you're changing the time every second by minus 0.1. So this reduces the time it takes to go from the bottom to the top. And I also have a kind of one picture animation of the balloon popping. I just took the balloon and erased parts of it. Now I'm going to show another game. Here I'm just going through a lot of different games that I've made. I'm trying to find the next game that I'm going to show you, which is just an even more advanced, basically balloon popping game. This one's kind of a space balloon popping game, but it shares a lot of the same attributes of the earlier games. It just adds more complexity. It gets more complicated. So now I have a nice moon background, and the actual balloons are not balloons anymore, but they're meteors coming down. So the idea is that these meteors are going to destroy your city, and you need to destroy them. Here I have these little animations of the meteors that they kind of wiggle. There's a few different meteors that you'll see later. And then also the city, when it gets hit by a meteor, it catches on fire. So this is a little more complicated. You need to track where the meteor is, because as you'll see, as you start, you have one big meteor, and then it splits into 3. So you need to know where the main one is and where to put those 3 once you click on it the first time. And then if any of the meteors hits the city, then it goes into flames and you lose. So this is just another step in complexity. Now we're moving into a lot of these add-ons. This is a drawing add-on. You can see there's a lot of different add-ons here, like music. This one basically draws a line behind your character. So you can have your character run around, and it's going to basically draw a picture. So you can have different characters that are involved in some kind of story that draw pictures, or you can control your character to draw pictures. And here I just have my character go to random places in a certain amount of time. So if it's a short distance, they move slower. If it's a long distance, they move faster. And you basically have these controls where you put down a pen and pick up a pen, so you can have them start drawing and stop drawing at any point. So you can do quite a bit with this drawing part, and it's just one of the add-ons. You can see it's just at the bottom there with all the normal code that you have. It's just an add-on code that you can use. There's a few of these that are quite interesting. Now we're going to do a music one. So there's a lot of musical instruments. You can add some sounds. So the whole musical part of the code, you can add a lot of different sounds. You can have musical instruments that you can basically play by clicking, or you can have like a whole song that you make in the game. So now I'm going to do like a drum thing where I have like this main drum, and here I click on the music functionality, and this gives me a lot of different tones and beats basically that I can use. So now I'm just using this snare drum. So if you click on it, you'll hear the sound. And then you can, now I'm just going to say when clicked instead of when starting, which makes more sense. So you can basically click on the drum and it makes a drum sound, just making it bigger now. So it's 300 size instead of 100 size. And I duplicate it. So I'd like to erase the big drum and just keep one small drum and one big drum to have like two different drum sounds. So there I just erased all of it except for one small drum, and here I'm just erasing the small drums to leave the big drum. And I can kind of put them together, but now they're separate characters so that if I click on one or the other, they make different sounds. Before, they were all together as one character in one picture. So there's one sound, and then the bass sound. And now if I put a loop, it'll go 10 times, pop, 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 pop. It's quite annoying, so I've turned the sound down quite low. This is just me trying to make music. It's not very good, but I'm just trying to show how you can make music with Scratch. And so there's so many different drums and different sounds that you can use. I'm just going through some of them. Then I add a saxophone, and here I can also have a lot of tones that I add when you click on the saxophone. So I click the saxophone, but you also have the different tones. Yeah, so that's like a woo, right? And here I have a loop where I play one tone and then the other. You just go between the two tones, one tone and then the other. And with different loops and different timing, you can make a whole song like this. So thank you for watching our video. Like I said, you can sign up on the website if you're interested in this course. We also offer other courses like Arduinos, where you can make robots, and CAD courses where you can design and 3D print. This game I'm playing right here, it's called Crab Spaceship, so you can actually go on Scratch and play this very same game. Just something we made really quickly, but it's pretty fun. The crabs keep multiplying and multiplying until you have like 20 or 30 crabs on the screen, and at some point you die. So I'd like to see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.